Hi guys, so I just wanted to make a quick video real quick for the beginning of the rest of this. So I kind of got a little things backwards though on this video, so I do apologize. But in the very beginning of the video, because I've noticed some interconnects and I wanted to share that with you, I wanted to figure out how I could do this. So I just decided to go ahead and kind of put everything together from all the readings from Matthew and Savannah to kind of paint the picture. And I think I got a little bit more than I thought I did. So but what's interesting is I kept going back to Mackenzie's Autowrite in 2019. You can find that on my channel. I couldn't add it here because I actually don't have a copy of it on my computer, but I'm going to post like a screenshot of what it says. Um, and I thought it was kind of odd at the time because it doesn't make sense. And back then I didn't know how my Autowrites work. Now I know that it's like information, past, present, future, many cases, all of this. So what's interesting is I got um, a guy with a bit of gray in his beard and a mustache and beard, and then I got like dark wavy hair and dark eyes. So I'm wondering if that was like two energies together. But then I got the other guy is younger and maybe a father and son. And then I heard father and son duo. I thought that was kind of weird. I don't know if it belongs here. I just thought it was odd. So I'm just putting the screenshot in there because I kept thinking about that all day, saying, I remember back in the day when I got that. Um, so the other thing I noticed is in this, and I did put it in here, I kept going back to the Delphi Autowrites. So in the Delphi Autowrites, remember past, present, future, many different cases. I didn't know how my Autowrites worked back then. I do now, and that's why I always tell you guys, like sometimes yeah, I've gotten more focused and gotten better at it, but still other stuff may come in. Um, so in regards to that, I did have a drawing drawn up. Well, I kept going back to that drawing, like at the end of I think it was the end of the auto rates that I did for Matthew. And so today I went and I compared, and geez, because I kept getting a bigger Mexican guy and or a bigger Spanish looking guy. And what was weird is that they kept whenever I drew it off my uncle's card. Now my uncle kind of does resemble this guy, and my uncle's son's name is Christopher. I don't know if that's what Spirit was trying to tell me back then, but I kept going back to that, and then I was like, huh, how weird. So I actually did say it in the reading, so I was saying maybe he looks like the guy in my drawing, which the dad did. What's interesting is I got a little bit more information on the dad than I did in than I did on the kid for some odd reason. There's like I don't know, I just couldn't see him really well, and then when I did see him, he did look kind of feminine. Maybe he carries that feminine energy. I think that could be part of it too. But anyways, I wanted to share that with you. Also, in Rachel's auto write, I did share a little bit of that in yesterday, but I did know that there was a Chris involved. So it kind of goes Chris and then Juliet. Now, I'm not saying Julian's involved. Again, names come in around the case. So just because I get a name, it can be a connection. I'm not saying they're involved. I'm not saying they have anything to do with it. As I said in the last video where I put their names, it's just an example of precognitive, the way things work, how I get things ahead of time without knowing which case they fit into. And I think the reason why Annalise and Julian came in was because it was to tell us, okay, Chris belongs in this case because these two people are main people that are talked about. And again, they're innocent. They haven't done anything that we know of. They're not connected that we know of. We just know that it's the father and son. But I'm just saying the reason why it came in was Spirit was trying to get us to say, okay, this case, because Chris came in right before then. We don't know if there's a connection. There might be some, like, I don't know, people that buy the D's and stuff, they all kind of run in the same circle. So we don't know. Or the fact that I guess Julian was involved in the Telegram messenger. They might all have been in the same messenger. I don't know. So I shared that part of, so I added that back in and I shared the part where Chris was said. So just precognitive stuff, why stuff doesn't come in the right reading, I don't know. I don't know why Spirit does that to me. It's confusing and it frustrates me. And honestly, today I was so frustrated with the way that everything went down and how confusing it was, which, as you know, the collective can confuse it as well with everything going on. I think I need to just stick to giving the information and not having, like, I asked people not to send me stuff they did. I think it kind of screwed me up a little bit. So I just want to kind of focus on that. But see, mostly the dad came through because the dad believed to the son and daughter, whatever you want to, I don't know. He's got both energies there, male and female. So that might be why I was having a hard time. And I think maybe that might be the ponytail. Oh, that's another thing I'm going to add just because I think it's kind of interesting. So back in Rachel's, reading, I kept seeing a female behind bars where I thought it was a female. It kind of reminded me of Quentin's mom. I'm going to show a video of Quentin's mom and this guy together, and you'll see what I'm talking about, how I like got the similarities. I was like, maybe it was a male, because everybody was like, maybe it's male with long hair, but I wasn't connecting the male with long hair to Rachel's case. As I'm saying, I always say it'll hit a case, especially when I like sometimes the energy is just stronger, or spirit knew that I was going to get into this case, and so that's why they do it to me. I don't know. I have no control over what comes in. I have no control over any of it. So, but I wanted to put this video together to try to put everything together, because you have many people saying, oh, you said African American guys. Really, you guys, I think that came in because of the video that was going to come out. Like, stuff will come out that's coming out in the case so that it can be validated. No different than the white truck I picked up in Idaho. 2 days later, it came out in the news. It's just saying that this stuff is happening in the case. Remember that readings, I can pick up things around the case. I can pick up energies around the case. I can pick up things coming out in the news. Like, that's just the way it works with me. So just because I describe somebody and at the time I might feel like I don't know if they're involved or why I'm seeing them, like, I don't know why I get what I get. Usually things aren't going to happen until it's meant to happen and we see it. But you know, I need to start taking my mind out of it and stop trying to figure it out and just give you guys information, which I always say that every single time, and I still try to figure it out. So I did just put all the readings together. I think they're a little more accurate than I thought they were. And we don't know where that kid connects to or anything either. We don't know what the future holds either. Like, maybe he gets a tap below his eye. I don't know. The dude's very dark, and I might do an into the mind reading. I know it's I think you guys are saying to do that, so that might come. I don't know. I'm considering it. I know you guys want it, so we'll see. I was kind of getting some stuff today. He does carry that serial killer energy vibe, which is, I did get the serial killer card a couple times. So all the cards in this case were right. My perception of them and learning how the cards flow and how they work and what they might mean together, now that I'm looking back at them, it's like, duh, Rochelle, like, that's what it meant. Like, it meant, like, when the child father card came in, and then the family, like, in family dynasty, like, in the same family, father child in the same family. Like, now I get it. At the time, I'm like, I have a hard time perceiving it. So remember, the cards are new to me. I'm still learning how they, like, what each thing, so each case that I do, I'll get better at it. And they're just to clarify, they're just to give me a little more extra information. They're an extension of me, so it's already me coming out. It's already, like, tools are always an extension of us. So I just might not perceive or understand them correctly, but I do try the best that I can to understand them. And so sometimes I put a couple different meanings, but just so you guys know, like, be patient with me on the cards, because that's something new that Spirit's having me do, and practice makes perfect. So I'll get better with understanding how they flow and what they mean, but they were there. The cards were accurate. The cards are probably more accurate than my readings, but they were there. I have a hard time perceiving them. So thank you for your patience as I learn and trudge through that, because that's a new skill. So that's something I'm trying to learn and understand and grow with. I don't think I'm doing too bad at it. So Spirits wants me to do it for a reason. Like I said, I think it's to get a little more information. And in this case, it gave us exactly who was involved, the father and child. So there we have it. Anyways, all right, I'm going to go ahead and play this. This is all the readings put together. They're kind of backwards because I put it in the wrong spot. So some of the cards are going to start off wrong, and it's too much to move because it's split and everything. So it's all there, but it's going to start off with the Autowrites and what came precognitively years and months before. Delphi was about 5 years ago, and then we have Rachel's that was in August. And that makes me wonder if something's going to happen with Rachel soon, because I got a 6-month thing. And so why am I getting information that has to do with now? It makes me wonder if something's going to happen with Rachel, maybe February. Is February highlighted in this reading? So it just makes me wonder. That's the way the Autowrites work sometimes, or readings work sometimes, with timing. So Spirit does everything for a reason. I'm not meant to solve anything. I'm not meant to go point fingers. I'm not meant to go find the person. I'm just meant to put out the information, try to understand it the best way that I can, because it is charades. So anyways, thank you guys for being here, being so supportive. You know that I love you. I'll see you next time.
it though. Also, Chris connection that keeps repeating in my head over and over till I say it. I also get like a Julian or something like that, and I don't know where that fits either. I also hear the word predator. I also hear a gunshot, so not sure on that either. I don't want to tell you how I perceive it and get that wrong. So the month of January comes into play.
This thing I wanted to tell you guys is going to be solved soon. I feel like at least within the next 4 weeks. That's the way that it comes across. It feels like it's soon. Like I've been checking every day because that's how soon it feels. I kind of feel like how I felt with Quentin a lot of the time. And so because they keep showing me like the guys standing at a podium and they have pictures up of the people, and they're blurry to me, so I can't really tell you who they are, but they show them like an orange jumpsuit, so they obviously have them. So whenever they show me that, or they show me news, because I was also getting like a news thing, then that tells me that something in the news is going to break and that we're going to have a police conference soon. Now, the way that I take it and the way that I perceive it, because remember, it's all in how we perceive information. So do keep that in mind. And any of this can be past, present, future, anything that I get. It can always be symbolic. It's not always literal, and it can come around the case, around the victims, and around the perp. But anyways, the way that I perceive it is that they're going to make an arrest soon. And it's funny because I posted that on the community page yesterday, and then afterwards, all the true crime channels started saying it. So Spirit has showed me that this is going to be, I feel like at least January, like there's going to be some pertinent information that come out. So there's a couple things I want to talk about besides that. So maybe he was afraid to do it. There's some fear involved, and then there's propaganda, like fake news, like, you know, the rumors and everything going around, like not everything's going to be real, like propaganda. Okay. So this was a sole contract. Unfortunately, that means that there was no stopping anything from happening. This was a sole contract. I hope you guys can hear me. The memories could be anything in the past as well. You could take it as. And then we have the control card again. This card comes in every single time. So someone's controlling the situation. Someone's pulling the strings. If you look at that, that's a puppeteer pulling the strings. That's how I look at it. And then we have the happy card. So they were happy to control the situation. That's how I take it anyways. Then we got top secret. So it could be that it's because the police are holding stuff close to their vest, or there's some some things that are being hidden. Or there might be some stuff that's classified even in look, there's a revenge card. There's the revenge card. So there's some sort of revenge in there. And it was definitely premeditated, definitely planned. And of course, with anything, we're going to have some corruption. That could be corruption within the organized crime. Or it could be that there's, you know, we all know that they've got people in their pockets. And the regret card, there could be like some regret around this, but there might be some regret coming from somebody. Then we have ritual. Now, I took this card as like this was a ritual, because when those assassinations happen, there's a ritual behind it. The way that this was planned out, the way that this was done, it was ritualistic in nature. It could be that, you know, it could be the fact that there's a female involved, or it could be like, if you take it as like the passion was the D's and the money, and this is like a crime of that. Like you could take it like that too. If there's depends on how you perceive the cards. Like that. It's not always a love thing. Then there's a debt. Like maybe I don't know if he really had that much of a debt to pay, or maybe he did, and he was trying to run from it. So there's definitely money involved, whichever way. Gaslighting, manipulation, and of course we have the rumors. There's all kinds of rumors going on. Paranormal, a lot of paranormal people are doing this. I think a lot of the readings that people are doing are probably accurate. But there was a meeting. There was definitely a meeting, and that's what I feel like. I feel like they were going to meet them somewhere, and they felt safe enough to whoever they were going to meet, or it was like, you better come here and talk to me too. And so, or maybe it was his like supplier who was picking up from manipulation, but there was manipulation with that meeting, so they were manipulated to meet them somewhere, thinking that they were going to, like, everything was going to be fine. It was going to be not a big deal, right? And then we have the cover-up. Like, there was some cover-up done. Like, there was some wiping down, stuff like that. I don't think they cleaned up good enough. I don't think they, I'm getting chills in the back of my head. I don't think they, there's definitely a cover-up in some way. But things are going to be exposed. Probably not all of it, but a lot of it's going to be exposed. There might be an exposed cover-up because those two come in together. So intuition. I think that there was at a point where they had a weird feeling something was going to happen. That's how I take that card. Like, he had a little like bit of weird of intuition. And then there's also some kind of distraction. There could be a distraction going on, things made to look a certain way, and they're not. Like, you know, if stuff was taken from him, that might not be the whole reason this happened, but it could be made to look like a burglary, or they just took it just because it was there, and that's how they are. Not how people are. There's trauma involved. Down the rabbit hole, always get the second time I've gotten this card. Everybody's going down the rabbit hole. Everybody. So it's one of those Idaho 4 cases. Everybody's trying to figure out who did it, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if they were thinking about getting married. I don't understand this card. All that much. It could be. I get the travel because obviously they traveled there. They traveled to where this happened. There's some sort of paper trail which can come in the form of text messages or whatever. There's a paper trail of some sort of demonic possession. I mean, obviously darkness around this case. There's false accusations going on around for everybody. I mean, come on, that's happening everywhere. This guy, then that guy, then this guy, and that guy. And let's try not to impinge on the investigation and point fingers and make people run, and because they're right next to Mexico. I mean, come on, let's be smart about it. Secret. There's some kind of secret around this because I always get this card. And we got the fired card, so that could also be like, you know, you're taken out, you're fired. That kind of thing. The government agency, I always get that. It could be that they're, you know, because the government agency is involved, FBI is involved, whatever, or it could be that stand this card. I'm just gonna say I always get the government agency. It could mean a lot of different things. We have the government agency involved, but you know, we have an incoming message here, so that could be in so many different things. Like, you know, they got the message to go wherever they were going to go. So I think that might be what it revolved around, is that's how why they went where they went, and I think they were coming right back. That's the way that it comes in. And then mental health, so obviously. Okay, now we have just the justice card always comes in. We have physical evidence, and there's going to be justice because they're going to have physical evidence. They have planted evidence, so they might have, like, you know, they did kind of, I mean, they parked them somewhere, they left the shells, allegedly, all of that kind of stuff. There's definitely money involved, whether that means they just took money. Like, people knew he had money, maybe they just want to steal it from him, but there's definitely money involved. But I feel like there's so many different things around this, like I can't just pin down one, because there's a bunch of stuff going on. And then the government involvement again. So I don't know. That came in twice. And then we have these cards. It's killer may have an item belonging to the victim. So if they did take whatever they took, phones, wallet, jewelry, whatever. When I was in Autowrites, I kept seeing rings, and I was just wondering. There's a ring and a necklace, but the ring specifically, I keep seeing, and I don't know if it belongs, like, if it's like symbolic for something else. If there's rings that like that are missing, or there's somebody that's wearing specific rings. Because I kept just seeing rings on hands, and I don't really know. Victim stalked by killer, so watched them, stalked them. He could have followed them at some point. Premeditated killer planned out the details in advance. So everything was planned, although it seems like it's sloppy. There's a reason for it, for some reason. This crime might be solved by DNA testing or other scientific methods. So, like in the last reading, I feel like they've got a partial print somewhere. And even though they wiped it, like you can get DNA by holding something or touching something, and it can be anywhere. Like a hair could be anywhere, and they didn't get the hair. Like I don't see any of them wearing like things. Like DNA is so easy to, even though you think you're getting rid of it, a lot of times you're not. Even if you like, there's touch DNA and stuff like that. Like there's stuff that I think that they missed that's going to lead it back. Like there's all this technological, like digital evidence, and there's also going to be physical evidence, and there's also going to be like a DNA stuff. And I think like what I keep getting is like with Matthew, I kept getting like a muzzle burn. And then they showed me also the 2 flashes. So like when a gun goes off in the dark, it flashes. So they showed me that. And then like it's so dark, so I'm in somewhere, I'm in a garage, I'm in somewhere like that, but I pull up into it. Like it's weird. Like I feel like I'm in the car and I'm pulling up into it, but like I've got a gun pointed on me or some way, shape, or form. Like I feel like there was more than one person, because definitely they took his gun from him because he always had it. And when you're doing this kind of things, you always did. But I feel like he didn't really have it prepared, because whoever he was meeting, like he trusted them. It's just he got trapped, and maybe it wasn't who he thought it was, or again, the snake in the grass, and the gun there. So the person, I feel like, again, was in the back seat. I feel like it happened in the car. It didn't happen outside of the car. And I think evidence is going to show that. And that can be somebody older, like an OG, or someone that's an actual dad. Like cards can have multiple meanings, just like readings can. But I feel like whenever I'm driven up, I'm literally driven into like a dark place. So it's like a garage or something, like someone's home garage or a garage, something. But it's like you would drive up into it, and it's so weird. But I do feel like I'm at a house prior. And I just don't know why it's always so dark when I see this. I don't know if it's just dark around the case, or they don't want me to see everything, or if it was like dark outside, like that's the timeline issue. I'm not really sure on that. And it could be like, again, the child of an affluent grandparent. It's kind of weird because it goes child, affluent, grandparent, that's a male. So again, the grandparent card, so there's an older male behind this. There's someone that's older behind this, and that came in before, that came in the reading. So again, in the readings, maybe picking up on multiple energies, but there's someone that's older that could be they can be a grandparent, and it can be, they might not. So it's a matter of perception. But it's interesting, the child of an affluent grandparent, that's a male. All those cards flow together. So we have assassination by a devil, false person, reptilian, that's successful. And then we have the child of an affluent grandparent, that's a male. And then we have family. So they might have a family, and then we have accomplice and partner in crime. So we know that there's more than one person involved. There might be a parental figure in organized crime. Someone that's considered a parental figure, or so then there's the father card again. This is someone that's like a father figure, or because that card always comes in. And now the grandparent card comes in, so it's someone that's older, that's like pulling the strings, or that's involved in some way, shape, or form. It's almost like you need to take care of this, because then we have a terrorist. Like I always get, like when I get the terrorist card, someone that's come through every time. So I know that Telegram thing is out there, but I'm just saying, I just heard Telegram, so there's might be someone in there. I don't know. The back of my head hurts. I'm getting chest pain. I'm getting the back of my head hurting, and I'm having a hard time breathing. I hear execution style. So that to me is usually back of the head, or an execution type style. And I don't know where this happened at, because I told Lizzie not to tell me. But my head is killing me. My head, my chest, before we got on 24. 24 is coming in pretty strong. The 24 is coming in now. Let's just hang on to it.
Okay.
Cross is very tough, like a very like tough person, and she says I had to be. So I don't know like what her situation was growing up, if she had to always be tough in some way, shape, or form. She says on the streets. So I don't know if that means like tough on the streets is the way that I'm taking it, like because of where she lived, or the area she lived in.
Okay.
But it's like she had to be like tough on the streets, and I feel like she was raised around a certain environment where I don't want to redo because I just don't like it, but was money. And I understand why I keep feeling like it's dark, unless it's just to show me the flash of the muzzle. Like, I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, they don't know. I mean, they don't know like the time or anything like that wasn't released. I do know she was supposed to be at the hospital at 6, so I don't know. Does it
So
get
maybe they're
dark
saying
like
like it
around
was,
5?
yeah, it gets dark here around like 5, and we didn't change time. So, I mean, that could be why she's trying to show me like time of day, you know?
Maybe it
It's
happened on
almost like I,
their way to the
well, it's almost like
hospital.
I feel like I am, that's what I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if they were followed or if someone like got in the car. Because it's almost like, because I feel like it happened in the car. That's something that I've always gotten when I started trying to get visions on this. I kept seeing him in a car. I kept seeing someone like waving a gun. I didn't know who it was. It's almost like I'm threatening you with this gun kind of thing, or I'm pissed off, or I'm angry, like that. Like it can be symbolic, but but a more professional person would have picked up shells, and I don't think they were. So I'm thinking the way that this is coming across, if I'm perceiving this correctly, it's almost like I get two people. It's almost like a driver and that one that's done like knew both of them or something though. Like there's still like that familiarity with both of them. But this, I'm telling you, this has to do with money or like the back of my head. So that would mean they would have to be sitting behind them execution style. I mean, I don't feel like they were placed in the car. I feel like it happened in the car. Like that's something because they keep showing me shell casings in the car. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Shell gun, or the shells are in the car, that it happened in the car. Because it was weird when I was doing the cards at first. I was thinking there was two people. I keep seeing two people, but I don't know. I don't know. Tell because he might be lighter, so I can't tell if he's Hispanic or he's like a lighter. You know what I mean? Like a lighter version. Sometimes in parking lots, like there's one area that's like not really out there. You know what I mean? Like the end of the parking lot or a more like
Seemed
secluded
like
type
it was
area.
like the back area. I mean, I'm not familiar with that area, but it seemed like you went around the back of the apartments were here and their car was like pulled in sideways. Not sideways, but not right into like a
Yeah,
normal
because
parking.
it's almost like they were pulled over or something. You know, like they were followed and pulled over. I don't know. This comes across as like planned, like, but it's almost like, hey, babe, because I pulled him up. I want to look at him too. But it's almost like I hear him say, hey, babe, I gotta go do this real quick. So I wonder if he was like meeting someone and it went wrong because maybe it wasn't who he thought he was meeting, or it was like a setup because it's a rival, right? So if say you pay somebody to do something, how else are you going to get them alone and vulnerable? That's the way that it kind of comes across. Like they need to get them alone and vulnerable, and how else are they going to do that? They're going to set up a deal. They're going to set up a way to meet them, a way to get in the car. If maybe the person gets in the car, I mean, because like I said, I feel like she shot the execution style. Somebody was in the back seat, shot her that way. Because I feel like from the cards I did, like there was a cover up or like a staging, it's almost like maybe there was a staging of it. But I keep getting two guys. I hear guys' voices like, "Come on, dude, we gotta go," like that kind of thing. But so I don't know if this guy like normally went into this parking lot to like do deals. Like it feels like this is a place where like they went to do deals. Maybe it's that kind of ghetto place. But I wonder if there's not gonna be like something on the phone.
Okay.
You know, like I'm sure he has a phone that he uses for his stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they might be able to trace that because there might be something on there. But I feel like she was all into like the bad boy lifestyle and stuff like that. Like at least prior to getting pregnant. Like it's almost like this is a setup. They knew, they planned it, they set it up. Switching hands. Whenever we get the money switching hands, means someone's paid to do it, or they made money off it somehow. It can also mean that, you know, money surrounds the situation. I see graffiti letters or something like that.
Oh, stop. Somebody actually put in graffiti letters justice for Savannah.
Oh, really? Because they look like bubble letters, like,
Yep.
you know, the bubble graffiti letters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like Hispanic around it too, but I just wonders more to this than we realize. Like it might be like a tangled type web. But money is definitely a motive here, I think. That and there's a rivalry. Like I don't like you. You're nothing but a B. That's what I keep hearing. But I hear the words like caught off guard. So I feel like maybe they weren't expecting this. Like again, it was set up. They were meeting somebody possibly, because I feel like there's a reason they're kind of hidden wherever they pull into. And I hear wheeling and dealing. So I don't know. That's not my lingo. But I pulled him up too, so I pulled up him too, so I could expect to get that. It's like he's talking about like he put himself in the lifestyle and he put her in harm's way. But at the same time, like she knew she was in harm's way, but I feel like again there was gonna be some sort of change or shift because of the baby. Like either they were planning on making their lives different, because it's almost like she's coming like, I'm gonna be a mom now, I've gotta make a better life for my child type thing. Like I feel like she wanted to keep the baby. There's also an R is coming in. A setup. So I don't know. There's got to be evidence on a phone or something that of like a meet, but it might even be like a burner or something like that. I keep seeing 2 mug shots. It's like I can't see their faces that clear. But I get that song Hickory Dickory Dock. So when I get that, it usually means there's something with time. All right. So we got the firearm card, which we know is there's a firearm involved. All right. We got the imprisonment card, meaning I feel like, you know, they're trapped in the car. They can't go anywhere. Someone's, and that goes along with the kidnap. Like someone's got them by gunpoint. They're not going anywhere. You can take the kidnap card as, you know, when you can't go nowhere, you're basically kidnapped and trapped. All right. What's interesting is the assault card, because that came in the reading, so it could relate to an assault of some sort. If there was no assault done, because I feel this was like bam bam, like I said, execution style. And we have missing because they were missing for an point in time. They're not missing anymore, but they were. Right? And then we have another trapped card because they were trapped. They couldn't go anywhere. I feel like it was very much a setup. All right, so now for who's involved, allegedly, we have the stranger card, but it's like stranger to the family. So it's kind of interesting because I don't really know, because we got like, sometimes I take the stranger card as like we don't really know who someone is, but we do like as a person. But it could be like this family didn't know them really well. Because we also have like assassination, which is weird because it came next to the family card, knowing just what the brother went, the sibling went through. But we have the assassination card there, and we have a thief. So this is someone that like to steal, friend and law enforcement are together. So it could be someone that's a friend to law enforcement, or law enforcement may know who they are. I don't really know, but so we get kind of friend and stranger. So that's why it's kind of interesting. Unless there was more than one person involved, then we could have someone that knew, and then someone that was a stranger. But I don't know. I guess you can take paraphernalia and stuff like that. People party with it, right? Distraction. So there's a distraction going on. Greed. Money, 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 money. That's what came in before. I also got lies. Lies. And evil. There's evil around this case. Obviously, for who's involved. We got abuse, neglect, which we know is happening with her. We have unseen danger. So this makes sense because they were going to meet somebody, but they didn't know that person was going to hurt them. So there's unseen danger there. We have the blackmail card twice. There's blackmail cards. So someone was playing blackmailed in some way, shape, or form. We got exposed. There's going to be something that's going to come out that's exposed, or we got staged. That came in the reading. So there's something that was possibly staged about this. Absolutely no idea why I get the government card. I keep getting government, law enforcement. I'm not really sure. It could be, lots of different reasons. I'm just going to leave that there because we have the watch card. So they were being watched in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion, in work. So he was in the middle of probably working when he was doing it, or they could be associated with what he does. Sorry. Control. So someone's pulling the puppet strings. If you look at that, that's exactly what it is, puppet on a string. So someone's being controlled with that. We have lured. So they're going to do a deal. They're going to be set up. It's considered lured. Fired. I don't know. I could take that as like he was someone healing. There'll be healing coming from this. We have rumors. There's going to be a lot of rumors that are going to be going around, obviously. Mental health. Obviously, a person that does this doesn't have good mental health, but he didn't have good mental health either. So I take this like secret trip and travel, because they were taking a secret trip to meet whoever they were going to meet prior, and nobody knew about it. And in the travel, obviously, they took a car alarm. So I don't really know what that means. Hey. Sorry. Then we have DNA, so he was probably, there's investigation going on, of course. Then we have manipulation. Someone's being manipulated. It could be the person that did this, being manipulated by someone else. And there's some regret going on. We have a sixth sense, so someone may have thought about it, may have thought something like this was going to happen. There's a sixth sense about it. Prophecy, meaning it's kind of something that can't be stopped, can't be changed. It was going to happen in one way or another. Probably a soul contract of some kind. So we have killer worked in the area. So I'm just wondering about the whole turf thing, and it could be like what his maybe real job is, or what like the area he worked. Lies, deception, and potential cover up. So Again, I got that there was things that were done to possibly cover up, but there's going to be lies, deception around it, of course. And you're only supposed to do 3 of these, but if they make sense, then witnesses may not be fully disclosing all of the facts. So any witnesses that they have or people that they know might be hiding stuff from police. Oh, I forgot to do the other cards. I'll do those in a second. This was kind of weird. I don't know. These are 2 cards, so hopefully they're accurate because I wasn't supposed to pull these 2. And then there's victims or victims' family was familiar with the killer, so they're familiar, and you could take have evidence, and we have planted evidence. Another government card, government involvement. I don't know in what shape or form that is. So planned. Someone's going to jail. Someone maybe in. I saw that anyways. Break-in. So in a way, you could take this as yes, they were going to do a deal, but they didn't know this was going to happen. So things aren't always literal. And then we have another blackmail card. So some kind of blackmail money, something going on. Maybe he was just messing with the wrong person. And a phone call message. There's going to be something, and that could be like he was talking to someone on the whatever app or whatever phone he was using to do deals, and so there might be something on there that's important. I'll put it back on. So yeah,
I didn't know if you were done or not, but when you got the trap card, maybe 2, and I know like they were like trapped in the vehicle and stuff, but they set up a trap to get them there.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, you could take it as that. I mean, it really does feel like that. It doesn't feel like, again, I get the planned card, so they could have easily been trapped. You're right. Like, you could take it as that. Like, it's like a preliminary thing. And I was like not perceiving or understanding, so I wanted to do this mediumship first, but I kept seeing 2 flashes in the dark, like, and and that could be like, okay, say I know it's going around that he's in the back. Well, he could have been very well moved. That could be what they mean by planning the evidence, like making it look like something different. But definitely, I'm getting, there's someone was in the back seat, and if I'm getting 2 people, it could be someone else drove there. Like, I just keep getting like 2 people for some reason. But it is this a father of an acquaintance or a father that has an acquaintance, or a father that is an acquaintance. One card I pulled was grandfather card. I didn't take it though, because I pulled so many. Sometimes when you do that, they can get inaccurate in my opinion, but it did come out tonight, by the way, like the 3rd card. So I got to thinking I should have kept that. Anyway, he feels responsible for dragging his girlfriend and child into this, that he should have left her home that night. I feel like she insisted to go. I don't know, it feels like they didn't think anything of it, that maybe he is fanning money at me, and I also feel like he was basically selling everything there was to sell. I hear the word shipment, so I don't know if he was the one one of those that waited on shipments and whatnot, or whatever. It was like lifestyle was a D in itself for both of them, but they did want to change things up because of the baby, and there was a plan set in place that came in the last reading. I feel like there were things that they were doing that day before to prepare, like running around doing last minute things before the baby was to be born. Maybe some more supplies or running errands, or maybe trying to make some money even. I feel like the baby was going to be spoiled, and that maybe they did need some extra things for him. I also feel like he was stashing money, putting it away. I don't know, I keep hearing stash, so I don't know if he was stashing things. I think that all the things that came in the last reading were all the things going on around him. I do feel like he may have known who he was meeting, but it's like they had gone home and were doing things, maybe trying to do what you would do, like to make the baby come, like massage or intimacy, etc. And then they got like a text or something to meet somebody up to do a deal. That's the way it comes in. I feel like she insisted on going, and that he didn't go alone. So that he didn't go alone, and that so she could get out of the house, but it comes across as I'm running around the day before. We go home, then we leave to meet someone. I'm going to try to understand what happened because it seems to be dark every time I try to see something. I feel like they're having a conversation in the car. There's reference to him holding her hand. I feel like they worked on things a little bit, but they still had their issues. She was trying to stay for the baby and thought they would make changes for the baby. They show me driving there and the lights, like how lights would look like if you're driving in the dark and passing under street lights. I don't know why they show me that. So there's a secondary location that they met someone at, and I feel like if someone connects to the perp or perps, it feels like it may not be too far from where they were found. I wonder if there's like a shop or someone's garage. I can't. That's not far from where they are. I was trying to ignore that, but it's something that isn't going away. Also, it's like I'm meeting someone for this deal. I think nothing of them because I know them or know of them or I'm used to doing that. But I'm trapped before I know it. I hear the words big D. So I don't know. I feel like this person is an OG, but I can't get over the feeling of more than one energy. It's maybe like 3 energies altogether. And that might be all involved, not necessarily there at that point, but there's a reference to that. I keep getting someone with shorter hair, like kind of like to the, I don't know, it comes in like a shorter fade. This other guy, he's like OG. I don't know if he's been in the game for a while. It shows me like a long record. I feel like assault and these mostly. And he may have done things that he'd not been caught for. In February, it kind of highlights for me. I hear the words personal vendetta. I also hear the words friend to me. I hear the word burglary. I also hear cleanup. I feel like things were staged to look a certain way, but why do I feel like I'm in a building of some sort? It's kind of odd. I don't know why, unless it's someone got in the back, held a gun to them, and had them drive into a garage or building. It feels super freaking dark in this building. So it's so weird. I don't know why my visions are always so dark around this. There's a reference to a tattoo of a naked lady on an arm. I really think that Savannah was pointing to people who knew things before when I did her last reading, and because that video will come out. But it's like I'm in a dark building, and I also feel like that gun may connect to another crime. There's a reference to a burglary or a liquor store or something. I don't know what that is. It's kind of vague, but this was like professional. It was planned. They were trapped, and there was no leaving. I feel like a muzzle burn. I feel like gun to the head and muzzle burn. I feel like I'm yanked on. It feels like they were controlled prior to this. He made he was made to hand over his gun and even phone, I think. And yes, I know the news is saying it's missing, but I'm trying to see how. So it's like because I feel like he would have reached for the gun, but it was controlled before that. I see the guy get in the back. He acts like everything's cool. Weird. I don't know why they show me the car going down like someone gets in it. But I also feel like there's a bit of talk prior. Then some things were brought up that maybe Matthew had done to him. It comes across. Guy pulls a gun. But there's also like talk about the D's and stuff like that. And then you hear Matthew like, it's not what you think. It's not what you think, dude. It's weird. Seems like this guy has a daughter or something. Like, I don't know. That's known to gangster stuff. This is something I'm trying to shake and I can't. I also get like 45, so I don't know if that's the gun or an age, but I feel like I kind of get a lot of begging or trying to talk him out of things. I see Savannah try to say a few things, but mostly is giving like a side-eye stare. It's almost like the guy got in the back of the car and made them drive like into this freaking building or something. It's odd. But I feel like Savannah was executed first, like a tap. And then they show me 2 flashes in the car in the dark, like how it would look. They showed that in the very beginning before I did the first reading. And then I feel like Matthew was kind of losing it, crying, oh man, and freaking out. Like they made him watch to have it hurt more. It feels like I'm yanked by the collar or the shirt and pulled backwards. The gun is placed in my head and there will be a muzzle burn. My head hurts now. There was no mercy with this. There was no talking or getting their way out of it. It was going to be done because he crossed a line, and nothing he said was going to make a difference. I feel like there is maybe a gang name or a nickname this guy goes by. A certain way. I'm wondering about traffic cams. I don't know. I feel like I'm in a neighborhood, like driving through, but what's weird is they keep showing me traffic cam catching them, and they can see who's driving through the windshield. I feel like, I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying female, and what's weird is that's what I see in the still shot of the traffic cam. Father or grandfather, older. Acquaintance father card is getting to me. Like I keep seeing those 2 cards. He's connected. I feel like there was a message here. I feel like maybe things were cleaned up. I don't know if it's just the one that is calling the shots are involved. There's something that's been bugging me about that surveillance they released tonight. I couldn't sleep. They kept trying to show it to me over and over, and I don't know why. But I couldn't keep it. I couldn't sleep. It was weird. I kept going back to jail too. So there's a distributor. I also feel like maybe it was made to look like more like a robbery, or they took stuff anyway. But my cards, the law enforcement card and the jail card, are screaming at me. I feel like the steering wheel was wiped down, and because I saw like someone take a ride and go around it. And inside it's weird they left the shells. Can't tell much from that. I feel like the warrant will be served on a residence or work where this garage is, or maybe both. I feel like cops will be put pieces together. It's like the one in jail is a bit younger though. I'm getting the word acquaintance again. I don't know, he may have had longer hair than cut it. I get a lot of beer drinking or some liver issues or stomach issues or health issues. I don't know, the guy in black hair mixed with gray too. Fatter face, kind of heavier side, but there's like again others connected. I don't know if I also get an association with blue reason. So there may be they were found was secondary location, I think, but I don't think they saw this coming. I do feel they felt danger or other things and felt a little off, but I see him pulling in, and like Savannah has this like it's like this is weird or something to that effect, or she had like a weird feeling, but it was a trick because I hear the word trickery. He keeps showing, and I don't, they're not gonna snitch, but I keep going like to tomorrow Sunday, so I wonder if something will come out or just for the day Sunday. But I also get the number 4 in here, 4th, and I feel like they tried to be smart and cover tracks, but I don't know if they did a good enough job. Like there are links and connections. They show me a board like the cops have connecting strings. I feel like a lot of anger and rage with this. He definitely ticked off someone, and the guy was angry yet calm. Like he says the word friend, so he thought that maybe this was a friend of his, but it wasn't. And I think the friend card came in the last reading, but wasn't. I feel like the ponytail I can't shake though. Sorry, I do though. I don't know if that's a man or female or both. I don't know. I don't really know. But it's like on lower. I also get dark brown, almost black eyes. I'm darker. I also get a lighter with comes in as well. My right temple hurts really bad at that point. It's like a place it happened within 5 miles or something, or not too awful far from where the apartment complex is that it was picked for a reason. And they were meant to be found. So they're super hot now. I just keep trying to see, and it's so dark. I don't know why it's so dark. And my head hurts again. So I'm gonna go over the cards that I have pre-pulled here. All right. I may or may not perceive these correctly. Sorry, I gotta hurry. All right. So we got the runaway card. So I said I thought that they were trying to run away or get out of the lifestyle. That came in. I mean, people have validated that after the reading. We have the death. So part of that may have been involved in it. And we have imprisonment. So you can take that as they were stuck in the situation, or then we have the D's and the poison. I mean, we know that that's surrounding the case. And these cards, I'm not really taking this as like literal, not literally burned. We're like, you know how when you burn someone, like that's how I'm taking this card. And then I get like trapped, like they were trapped. There was no getting out, no way, no getting out of it. Being controlled very much. And then we have so that some way, some shape or form, these D's are involved. And so these two I take together as the alive and shot card. Okay, so they were alive when they were shot. Like they weren't knocked out or anything like that. Okay, that's how I'm taking that. All right. Okay, so then we have like who's involved. This is where it kind of gets a little weird. All right. So we then we have an accomplice partner in crime, so there's more than one person involved. And then see, I got this last time and I didn't take it. So grandparent I can take as they are actually grandparent or there's older male. But then I'm wondering if they aren't a parental figure as well and a grandfather, because when you put all these 3 cards that come in together, you have the parental figure, the grandfather, and the male. Okay. I have a freaking headache. Now we have the serial killer card. Now there's another card in here that validates this card, but this could mean that he's done something like this before and maybe not been caught for it, but he holds that type of energy. Okay. Family dynasty, meaning that he's been probably in the game throughout his, his family's in the game, he's in the game. There's a family dynasty of being in this type of stuff. Okay. And he may have been retired and then coming back into the game, or he could just be hiding out. That's why nobody knows where he is. We have a false person that's been, this could just be someone that's being thrown out as involved. That could have something to do with the video, like everybody pointing fingers at them or something. This is a rival, which that card came in last time. This is terrorism, which is interesting. Now this I find very interesting. So the terrorism card come out before. Now I do get terrorism anytime that there's somebody that's threatening someone or like, unalive someone, like that's terrorism. But then it comes in with the female card. So it's interesting that these cards came in together. And this could also mean that there's a female involved in some way, shape, or form. Like that could be my validation for it, because I was wondering. Because then after that we have assassination. Again, I got that card before. Then we have like this military card, so that could be, and he might have had a lot of success in this situation, in doing what he does. And we have family, so he might have a family. Storm police card again. I'm telling you, I don't know if somehow they're involved, like as in, like there's a family member to the police, but it could be again that there is we have family member father. So again, he could have, we got family up here and we got father up here. So it could just be pointing to someone that has a family. Burglar, so he's known to steal things. Maybe he did steal things out of the car, like again, to make it look like something. We have a terrorist again. So the terrorism and the terrorists come in because you take that as, that's the type of person that does this. Anyways, there could have been threats made too, but all right, now we're gonna go into the situation cards. Kind of a mess here because I ran out of the room. I just kind of pull till they kind of don't make sense, or I feel like to stop pulling. So you have a false flag. There's a false flag somewhere that's being thrown up. There's also lies that are being told, and this could be from both families. I feel like that, there's been a lot of shiz and rumors going around, and so that could be where the lies come in at. There's going to be justice in this case, which I've already seen. So go back to the first reading. There was an incoming message for them to go wherever they were going. That's how I feel like they left, is that they had a message, and maybe that's why they took the phone, thinking that they won't be able to find it. But cops are pretty good at that. Sorry. There's DNA in some way, shape, or form, whether they didn't wipe down good enough or something, because that's the second time I've got that card. So there's the party card, so that could be, maybe there's a party going on, or they think they were going to a party, or this is the second time I've got the party card, so there's some kind of party involved around it. Unfortunately, a curse. This feels kind of like a family curse when you go into everybody being involved in the type of activity that they were involved in. We have digital evidence, so I think some way, some shape, some form, somehow the cops are going to get some digital evidence. Here, I wasn't seeing those in America last night. I just wonder if it was going. I don't know. There's going to be healing out of this. Maybe healing in the family. Maybe it's sort of a lesson. The alarm card is coming in again. That came in before, so maybe there was an alarm before this happened. I'm not really sure what this card means. It can also mean something with time, I take it. These two cards are weird together. We have a government cover-up. I'm just gonna leave that. I do feel like that the people involved were trying to cover it, but I just find it interesting the government cover-up came in. So there's power here. So someone wanted power, had power, felt powerful, used power over. There's a timeline issue, because there is a timeline issue in this. Like, we don't know where they were before, like exactly what happened, yada yada. Like, then they were missing. So there's a timeline issue. We don't really know everything about the timeline. We have corruption. we have loyal. So there's someone that is loyal to the game, is what I just heard. So abuse, neglect. I mean, this can come in around their situation, unfortunately. I get the truth comes out card. There's a distraction. I feel like there's a lot of distractions. I mean, the distraction, I guess, could even be the video, but when I was trying to see other people, it was like, it was kind of, and I don't know why, like, spirit repeated that when I couldn't sleep, like, for hours. They just kept showing it to me in my head. So there must be clues or evidence in that, and that's kind of why I came back to this, because it was been driving me nuts. But there is an investigation going on, and there's a strategy behind the investigation that they are doing. Oh, don't jump up here yet, buddy. Ezekiel wants to jump up. He's gonna mess up the cards. Nope, not yet. There's gaslighting in some way, shape, or form. That could be like, it could be in their relationship, or it could be that if there was any kind of arguments before, that there was gaslighting going on. Trauma. So I love you, buddy, but not right now. Oh, goodness gracious. Hold on. My cards kind of got out of the way. I feel bad because he usually likes to sit up here for readings, but I have the Sixth Sense card. So I think this is coming in because I think Savannah had like a weird feeling when they started where they were pulling up to. I think she had kind of a sixth sense with it. There's a secret somewhere. So there could be a secret just involving like the business, about, where they were going there, but there's definitely a secret. There's some delays that are going to happen. The secret trip is that they were taking I feel like they were, because I got this last time, it comes across as like they took a trip, like they left the house and took a trip. Like I think they planned on returning. But there's manipulation here. It can also, again, be, I don't know, because I don't know if this involves like the distraction could also be that partner posting a bunch of stuff online, but because we have a like dating spouse partner, but yes, so Savannah and Matthew were dating, and they might have gotten married one day, or it's also partner, not necessarily a spouse. So I find this interesting. These kind of came in together, but there's manipulation. So it could have been that there was manipulation in the relationship. This can also go for maybe any exes or whatever, but it's all in how you perceive it. So I kind of want to perceive it as like it involved them. We have down the rabbit hole. Like there's a lot of rabbit holes in this, plain and simple. Like you could go down the rabbit hole all day long. Ask Lizzie. Premeditated. This was something that was planned, calculated, cold. This was premeditated. I think even the day. There's some sort of regret though somewhere. I feel like maybe around the female control. So there's some control. Someone's pulling the strings. That's the way I take it, because I look at the pictures on this and there's a guy pulling the puppet strings. So I feel like I've gotten that card before. Then we have debt. I feel like there was a debt to pay in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't necessarily involve money, but there was a debt to pay in all of this. Like that's why it happened, because it's his debt with his life. You know what I mean? There's communication again via text message, via whatever phone, whatever. I feel like that's where the communication comes in at. But it's like top secret communication, because I guess like Telegram is encrypted, so that could be why. There's a sense of freedom from the life. I think maybe they were trying to get free from the life. There's life insurance, the life insurance card. I got that the very first time I pulled. There's an evidence card, so they do have some evidence. But in this, interestingly enough, the cleanup card is with the evidence card, so they did try to clean up evidence. But in the end, it's going to get solved, which I already saw that anyways. This is just to validate that. All right. We have just jail card again. The very first, the guy's going to go to jail. Like there could be multiple meanings with it, but I just find that kind of interesting. And the blackmail again. I just wonder if there wasn't some blackmail that was going on. I don't know. and blackmail through the phone. The phone feels like it's a big piece of evidence. I know that it was taken, but I mean, I think there's ways to get certain things. So I just be curious. Weird, I just saw stuff being checked like in water. I wonder if there's any water around there. Huh. The government card again. I'm not really sure in what shape or form that's coming in at, because I keep getting it. But it could be there's a government investigation, because the investigation card's coming after the government card. And then we have, I don't want to mess these ones up because they came in a certain way. Okay, so we have investigation, government, on the runs, DEA. So the DEA might be involved. Maybe he was running from the DEA. We got DNA and some, again, and fingerprints. So they did try to wipe the fingerprints. I just wonder if there's not a partial or something, because I heard partial, so there might be a partial print that they didn't get when they were wiping. So that's interesting. So I'll tell you guys if I get stuff as I pull the cards. But yeah, I'm hearing partial. This was the second time I got fingerprints. So that's interesting. And again, whenever there's any water nearby, I keep hearing a splash. Forensic science will provide important clues. So that would go back to the partial print maybe, or some other forensic science. See, this one's interesting. Perpetrator has behavioral patterns of a serial killer. So again, I got the serial killer card. So he has the behavioral patterns of it. So, and I kept getting something that's like a bigger dude, and I had him drawn out, and he was like Spanish. So I'm just wondering, because Autowrites, I do get past, present, and future cases, and I'm just wondering if that's not connecting here. Autowrites, I auto-wrote. So past, present, and future other cases, okay? Now everything in my Autowrites will fit that case. But if we go back, maybe I was picking up this because it's happening around the same time as the Delphi stuff. And yeah, like I would pick up things with timing. So I find that kind of interesting now that I'm thinking about it. And the guy that I drew for that, you can see under the Delphi stuff, he was Mexican. I thought he was. So D's may be an important factor in the case. That's come in a lot in this, so it's definitely all around it. There's something involving that, and I usually am supposed to pull 3 of these cards, but the other 2 made sense. So witness may not be fully disclosing all the facts. If they have a witness, they might be not telling everything, and interviews with relatives or friends of the family may provide valuable clues. So they may be getting